I ain't gonna hold you. Life be life, and let's be 100 about it. Don't roam through your thoughts and feelings alone. Pull up to me and pull up a seat. Let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of Let's Talk About It, the podcast. I'm your host, Keawn, and I got my girl sitting here with me. She been my support system since day one. You know, she been with me through the whole thing. Babe, tell the people what's up.
What's up, people?
You know, I'm real happy to be here, giving y'all a peek into my life of how I was raised and what I've been through and things like that. And I figure if we go call the podcast, let's talk about it. We gotta talk about Keawn first. For starters, for y'all that don't know me, I'm 34. I've been living in Cleveland all my life. And you know, I've been good, you know. I've been a good person. I've been a thriving person. But what I do really want to focus and talk about is how I was raised. That's something that always, you know, been on my mind growing up as a kid. You know, you don't really question your parents like, Mom, why we ain't got this, why we ain't got that. You know, my mother did what she had to do to make sure we were straight. Kept a roof over my head, sent me to school when I was supposed to. But it would be times in life where some, you know, things would be hard and I'd just be like, damn, why? And you know, as I got older, I started having questions just like a lot of us did. And like I said, your parents don't really want to hear you asking questions about why they doing things, how they do them, but whatever. They knew this time was gonna come and the time is here now. So let's talk about it. I always wondered, like, I never seen my mom go to work, never seen her punch a clock. She never had a uniform, getting up in the morning, going to work like the typical parent would. And it'd be times that it come around, especially like beginning of the school year, Christmas, my birthdays, stuff like that. And she wouldn't have money, and I'd be like, damn, we had money for this, I had money for that, so what's up? I finally asked her, like, Mom, what's going on? You know, what's up? Tell me why I ain't got no shoes for school tomorrow. Tomorrow the first day. Y'all kind of find out my mother was raising me on financial aid. Financial aid, buddy. I'm talking about we was living large, and I never knew that was the whole thing, but it would be gaps in the, you know, in the bread, so I had to be the one that had the backlash on that. So with that being said, that gave me like a strong strike of independence at a young age, which I'm sure that probably did for a lot of people whose parents didn't have when they was growing up. So with that being said, when I would go to school, you know, my clothes and shit wouldn't be the best, you know, but I kept a positive attitude all the time. And I would do extra things at school to, you know, overcome the struggle of not having what everybody else had. You know, my academics was A1. I was part of everything. I did student council, spelling bees. For y'all that know me and went to school with me, y'all know I was doing it all. Y'all know I was doing it all, but y'all know I wasn't the flyest though because I ain't have it. But like I said, it struck a good key of independence in me, and that led me a lot of places. And so going into, you know, middle school, high school and stuff like that, me and my mom really didn't see eye to eye on things because I didn't agree with a lot of things that she did raising me. But I didn't let it get me down, you know. I just tried to maintain, keep my head up. And luckily I was one of the people, one of a million to shine through my personality and stuff like that. A lot of people that know me, y'all know I'm real funny. I had you laughing like crazy. Clothes look crazy in middle school, but I had you rolling on the floor. Teachers and everybody else. You know, and it just had me thinking sometimes, like, you would have thought I've been a person to be like the bully at school, the person that would go to school and be out in the environment and out in the world just causing havoc with people because they had all these bad things going on at home, and it was the complete opposite. And you know, I thank God for that. You know, that's good for me. I'm gonna clap it up for me one time.
There you go.
And I kept that same mind frame going on through my whole life, all the way through high school till I graduated. You know, my mother didn't really participate in things that I really wanted her to be a part of. So outside the bullshit I had going on at home, damn, you could at least show up to a basketball game, come see me in the spelling bee or something. But hey, like my mama said, bruh, she was writing her resume. She was writing a resume for like 10 years, bruh. Like I never understood, like, what's taking so long for you to write this resume? She was not going to work. But like I said, my mom had a lot going on within herself and things like that. So as I got older, I was like, yeah, you know, things would be cool for me as a kid, you know, and when I become a teenager and when I start progressing to do other things. But since my mother refused to go get a job, I'm like, shit, once I learn how to take care of myself, I'm straight. Wrong. No, she didn't go and get pregnant. No, she didn't go and get pregnant. I said, well, what I'm supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Instead of worrying about me having school clothes, she went and got pregnant. She got a whole other baby on the way. Okay. That's what we doing. Okay, bet. That right there struck a whole nother lane of strength in me. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have siblings. I already know how she about to be, raising them. Because I knew how she was raising me. Like I said, she kept the roof over our head, but the roof was a little leaky. You know what I'm saying? We was about to get put out a couple times, but it is what it is. And that's really just through everything, like learning things, going from house to house, going from school to school. I was always a new kid. We had so many apartments and so many people that we stayed with. It was just crazy. You know, as I'm grown now, I honestly see like my mom took the hard way out for no reason. She took the hard way out for no reason. I mean, to me, if you ask me, I would call it like pure laziness. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what I see it as, because us at our age now, we was doing the same thing. What would somebody call us? What would they call us?
Yeah, lazy.
Yeah, it'd be lazy. It'd be like, why you ain't want to get no job, take care?
More,
yeah, you know. So what I want to really focus on is people never know what people going through, coming up. You see that kid at school that look crazy, and I got bullied real bad.
Oh.
I got bullied, y'all. When I say I got bullied, it was so bad. And when I went and took my one issue to my mother, who was causing all these other issues for me, she wanted to go and press charges on the damn parents who kid was bullying me. That made it worse. I said, you know what? Never mind. I'll figure it out. I'm cool. You call the cops?
You be mad at her though.
Like why would you call the cops?
I'm gonna fend the fact that I can't get you all these nice clothes, so I want to sue their asses. All right, I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of like.
It's like I feel her a little bit, but it's just like, damn, that made it worse for me. Like,
I get that part too. Like now, everybody about to be looking at me like you snitch.
And it was just real bad. So it was just a lot of things that I learned to take on the chin. I learned to take it on the chest. I let it affect me a little bit emotionally over time, but I got better. So that's just a little backstory on me. Fast forward to, now my present life, 34 years old. Where am I at with my mom now? Me and my mom are complete enemies. We do not get along. And we don't get along for the main reason a lot of people don't get along with their parents, because she can't stay out my business. My mother wanted to be in my business so bad, and it just took our relationship and just dragged it across the mud. Crazy. And that's another thing I want to talk about. Why do parents feel like when you question them about how you was raised and you question them about this and this and that, they don't want to talk about it? But when you go into a new endeavor in your life, you might be getting married, you might have a new job, you might be moving, you just doing so good in your life, and here they come with so much to say. But when I had so much to say, you didn't want to bring it up. It wasn't a subject to be discussed.
The unfairness of being a child is crazy. They feel like, okay, I'm your mother. No matter how old you are, I'm your mother. You can't say nothing to me. That's kind of unfair when I'm old enough to sit at the grown-up table and ask you a question as an adult mother and all. Like, I just want to know. Now, you not even knowing how the outcome's going to be. I just want a little bit of closure. I can't get it.
Yeah, like it'd be really a crazy move, and they make it seem like you just be so wrong. I don't wish a bad relationship on nobody with their parents. I want everybody to have a thriving relationship with their parents, but sometimes it just don't be like that. It don't be like that, and when you really get into it, your parents will use that parental control that they had over you as a child, and they'll try to gradually bring it into your adult life. And when you decide to be like, I'm not going for it, it become an ultimate battle. You know what I'm saying? And this is something that needs to be talked about amongst people in your circle, your friends, your family, your cousins, people that you was raised with.
Yeah.
I didn't find out that my mom and a lot of my aunties and the older people in my family that was raising me, they was cool, but they wasn't really equipped to deal with the problems they brought along by having kids. You see what I'm saying? So one thing I want to say to y'all is this is a safe place for people to come talk about things like this, things that need to be discussed. You might have stuff on your mind, have stuff on your chest for the longest, and it'll drive you crazy, specifically like this situation did me. Me and my mom been through the worst. You know what I'm saying? We done been through police calls, charges pressed, courtrooms, and that's just crazy. And there's people out there that got a lot more going on with their parents than I do. You know, I thank God that we both still living, breathing, healthy, but at the same time, things need to be discussed amongst me and you. And sometimes parents just don't be on it.
Parents just don't understand.
They don't understand sometimes. And if you feel like you one of them people that's going through something like this, whether it's with your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your dad, because specifically, I don't know about y'all, but I don't get along with my dad. But that's a whole other story for another day. I really don't even want to give him a platform, but you know, it is what it is. But, babe, what about you? What's some things about your parents that you feel like you need to discuss?
Wow. Well, you know, just sitting here and talking with you and, you know, hearing everything, of course, you know, I know, but it's like coming from an opposite end. Like, you know, my mother, she did a lot. My dad died at 39 years old, a couple of days before my first birthday. And, you know, she was a single mother of 4, you know, and she did her best to, you know what I'm saying, give us a good life. Everything wasn't name brand, but she did try to bring us up decent. But the absence of you being gone sometimes took a toll on people. And, you know, sometimes it's an issue that if you don't like what I'm saying, deal with it or find somebody else to deal with. That's the kind of thing I don't like when it comes to, you know, love my mother to death and everything else, but, you know, she has some lessons. Yeah, she's an elderly woman and everything, but it's just some things I wish I could talk to her about and hope that she would understand and, you know, understand that we understood the hardship of her being a widowed single mother. I just wish things could be equally talked about between us and, you know, my brothers, whoever feel like they have anything else to say about it. I just wish we could talk about it as children peacefully to our parents without them getting so upset or us getting some backlash from it. Because what about the trauma? If you had trauma as a child, what about ours? What about ours as a child? I know it's plenty of things that you wanted to say to our grandparents. I'm pretty sure our grandparents aren't perfect, but, you know, I guess, you know, just speaking on the opposite end of everything, you know, I do have things that I would like to talk about when it
Okay, well,
yeah.
That's a start. You know, you're getting it off your chest a little bit, you know, letting somebody know that just thing that you want to discuss, you know.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about being a single mom, you know, I understand being a single mom is hard. But later on in life, I found that my mom, she was a single mom by choice. You know, my dad, he didn't make the best decisions, but it was a point in life where he may have tried to be there or compensate for the things that I needed. You know, he tried, but he didn't try hard enough.
Every daughter still needs their father, just like a son do too.
Every daughter still needs their father, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And damn.
That's all right.
All right, that's a good start. You know, you let somebody know that you're going to get it off your chest a little bit. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Somebody always got something they need to talk about, you know what I'm saying? So for y'all that feel like this is something that y'all want to do, y'all want to be interested in, y'all can always follow me on YouTube. You know, go on YouTube, type in Keawn Johns, that's Keawn. Let's Talk About the podcast. At Mention Key on Instagram. Click the link in my bio to see all episodes. Hey, y'all, I'm going to get up out of here. That's a wrap. Love y'all.